newcomers on defense. They were able to put pressure. They were able to cover, and the up front played well, I thought.
Hello, friends, and welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. David Nuno here on Labor Day. We did the show because we had to talk about the game against Notre Dame. And guys, we got Nick and we got Luke. The vibe of the show was what? What would you say? Luke, you start us off.
Reflective.
Reflective. Okay, I don't know if I like that answer. Nick, what do you think?
Not good.
We weren't like mad today, right? I think we were just
like mad at everybody, mad at the world.
I did want to fight at one point during the show, but that's typically what we do. Favorite part of the show?
Billy Liucci.
Okay, because he's listening?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick, your favorite part of the show?
Jackie Sherrill.
Jackie was great.
Legend.
Great answer. Jim Rome, hot take. We also had Billy Liucci on the show. We had Olin Buchanan on the show. And we had Tom Hart on the show. Message boards right about that. That and more. It's the TexAgs Rewind. I think we both have the exact same turning point in the game. And let's kind of go through it because to me, it was with 6:23 left in the game. And Notre Dame's able to eat 429. And they pick up 4 first downs over an 8-play, 85 yards. It's a tie game with 6 minutes left. But the play to me was the 3rd and 5. Yeah. Okay, and before that 3rd and 5, Luke and I agree with here. I thought so. They got a 2nd and 1. Remember? And I was like, oh man, they're going to get another first down. Then Nick Scorton makes an amazing play, and I thought he lost more than 4 yards. I thought was it Jeremiah Love, whoever it was. I thought he made a football move when they pushed him back, which to me would have brought it back even more.
Right.
But okay, and then they get that 3rd and 5. Riley Leonard connects with a Greathouse. And it was a play that you analyzed before the show. You went over and over on it, and it just was not.
Well, what they do is. They have a wide receiver.
We got the screener right there.
All right, great. And they're bringing Greathouse from left to right. And the guy who's going to cover him is Marcus Ratcliffe. But he's actually, as the play starts, he is actually lined up between the guard and really over the guard.
Yep.
I guess feigning a blitz. But by the time they snap it, Greathouse already has leverage. And he just goes out and turns, and then the receiver, who was wide at that time, just before the snap, the corner, I guess it was Will Lee. I'd have to go back. Well, he retreats back about 10 yards. So as soon as the ball snapped, Greathouse has leverage. He just has to go up 5 yards. I mean, it's an easy pitch and catch.
Yeah. Because
you're Ratcliffe is having to bail out and try to catch up, and it just wasn't going to happen. If it had been 3rd and 7, it's going to be a first down. 3rd and 8, it's going to be a first down.
Yeah.
They out-schemed you there.
They out-schemed you, and they executed. What in your opinion, went wrong and why?
Well, the first thing is, Connor looked like he was not settled. It looked like why was he off? Why? And so you're trying to answer the question because so much is put on the quarterback, but your quarterback usually plays well enough to win the game. So the coaches yesterday, I would say, spent all day trying to figure that out and trying to go forward. Like you said earlier, defensively played well enough, and there were a lot of bright spots. The score 13-13, you have a chance to win, but we didn't play well enough offensively to win.
Coach, what were the areas when you said there's some good areas and bad areas? What did you see that you felt like, okay, I feel pretty good about this?
Well, certainly the defense and the newcomers on defense, they were able to put pressure. They were able to cover, and the up front played well, I thought. Now, offensively, just didn't seem that Connor was in sync with the receivers, and there's got to be a reason for that. I go back to Will Rogers, which played at Mississippi State, led the SEC, and when Mike Leach passed, the next year, he looked like he was 1/3 of what he was. And looking at Connor, just his demeanor, before the game, during the first part of the game, and during the game, didn't seem like it was the same Connor.
Tom, let's talk about Connor in particular, because some people are upset that he is, he should have been benched in the game. I don't believe that at all. At least in game one, I'm a believer that would send the wrong signal against a team that you were tied with in the fourth quarter. And also the overrating of Connor. Everybody had him as a top 6-7 SEC quarterback. He had played at that level and showed flashes of better than that. This is the first time we've seen him like, oh, okay. Now, we got to figure out, is it because he hadn't played in a year? Is it because Notre Dame is that good? Or is it because he's lost mentally, he's thinking about the footsteps from last year? A lot of questions still to be addressed, and I'm not going to overreact to one game. I am concerned, though.
I think the last point you made would be the most concerning if that's an issue. If he's lost confidence, if he's lost momentum as a quarterback, how do you get that back? Is that a real thing? But the other issues, that is an elite Notre Dame defense. I mean, we talked about especially how good they were number one against the pass last year. It was going to be tough at times to complete passes against them. He got very little help from what I saw, and you correct me if I'm wrong, very little help from his wide receiving core. And then it being game one, you've been going against yourself all summer, your own team. How do we put him in position where he's most comfortable? And you'd hope that you would have had, a key group of plays. Like these are the concepts that he's really comfortable with and really likes. If those concepts don't match up with the game plan in terms of what Notre Dame would give you, then there's a real conflict there. How do we get him comfortable? The run game wasn't giving him a ton of help either. So I agree. You don't bench him in game one, especially when it's a game in the fourth quarter. Can you help out with play calling? Yeah. And I think probably, they're thinking about that this morning, if not, after the game Saturday. But I don't think you overreact. I think you say, okay, we've got that one in the books. We can learn from that. Let's go back and let's watch the film and let's talk about where you were comfortable and uncomfortable. If you still have the confidence that you can make plays because of what you've shown and the flashes that you've shown in big games, then let's capture that.
If you get to that Missouri game at 4-1, right? Mm-hmm. You can look at that Notre Dame loss and say, man, that's first. You're like,
no, yeah, you don't. I mean, absolutely, you'd be 2-0 in the SEC, David.
Yeah,
with a home game against the top. I think they're going to beat Kentucky. Might not. Kentucky has a way of doing that. I mean, that is the strength of Mark Stoops, is they'll win a game like that from time to time. But I think they'll be undefeated when they come in. And, of course, your season looks different at that point. If you have Mizzou coming in, and by the way, I think Missouri will be a different matchup for A&M. They will take shots. They will put Cook in harm's way at quarterback, trying to get the ball to Burden down the field, and they aren't as nearly as good defensively as Notre Dame is. So if the Aggie offense has come a ways from now till then, I think that's a game that could be really exciting and be an end-of-game type deal in a different way than this one was. So, yeah, I mean, if they come back to Kyle Field in their first big game here since Notre Dame and they're 4-1, again, you're 2-0 in the SEC. I don't care where Florida and Arkansas rank in the SEC. You've got another massive opportunity at home against a team that, as I sit here today, I would say against a team that you can beat. The same situation you were in against Notre Dame. A top 10 team that you are capable of beating. And you have a legitimate chance to win. And again, that's where we're frustrated, because you knew you had a legit chance to win. But if you can set that up again and just in 4 weeks' time, then you've done a hell of a job. And I don't care if that's close wins over Florida and even Arkansas. You've done a hell of a job, and you've positioned yourself to kind of, change the narrative again. And that's the goal between now and then.
All right, Luke, tell the people what to do.
This is the first time I get to do this in the new studio.
You haven't done it in the new studio?
Not yet, no.
Oh.
You're going to want to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications for TexAgs on X, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever TexAgs has, Threads, if we're still using
Do
that.
people use Threads?
Not really.
I've never used it.
No.
How'd you feel about Power?
I loved it. I loved that it was coming back.
Yeah, it was
It was
great.
worth the wait.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Ronnie will, at least.